Hello and welcome. Welcome to the channel and welcome to this video, I guess. Well, for today, I wanted to do a showcase of the Fate Stay Night pieces and go over 5 of them. There are 60 in total. It is a complete set, completely available for free on TTS and based around the anime series Fate Stay Night. There are other series that will be done in the future, but right now we're doing Fate Stay Night. So if you're not familiar with what Heroclix is and just came here because it's Fate Stay Night, Heroclix is like superhero chess. Every piece has special abilities and powers, and it takes place on a board, and you are able to maneuver around and strategize around your opponent's actions and moves and fight. So it's a really fun game if you want to take a hero, place him down, and just fight other heroes with it. You don't have to worry about Japan exclusive releases, etc. It's a simple board game, fun, and anyone can pick it up real easy. So, uh, if you want to go more in depth, I'll make a video if there's a request for it. Otherwise, we're gonna hop right on into these pieces. All right. So today, the first up, she's number 2 in the set, 02A. It's Rintohsaka. Let's look at her model, better look. And taking a look at her abilities, she has the Command Seal ability. If she pays an additional 15 points, she gets at the start of the game, she gets 3 command tokens. She can remove these command tokens to take a power action to do one of the following. She can heal one character that she is bound to. She can move target that she is bound to within 3 squares of her. It's very helpful if she gets pressured or attacked and your guy is out of range, won't make it in time. It's a teleport, placing them within 3 squares. So very helpful, very good ability, but it does cost her a power action. And she may modify the target of her choices, defense and attack +1 this turn. And these can only target characters that are bound to her. So she can't do this unilaterally for all pieces on your team. Only those that choose to be bound to her. And we'll get into that bound mechanic here real soon. But just explaining it. She has a master ability, which is an ability specifically designed around her being bound to someone. Is power action. She may choose a character she's bound to and heal them 1 click, but at the end of the turn, that character is going to take 1 unavoidable damage. So it's kind of like a temporary buff, putting them back to, like, let's say you just lost out on your hypersonic speed, you want your hypersonic speed back, you heal them 1, then deal them 1 unavoidable damage. It takes away from your action total and costs her a power action, so it's a pretty you go in there unless you're playing with a big piece, and in which case that's pretty strong. She has a special power on fist called Jewelcraft, which is penetrating psychic blast and steel energy. Sidestep, force blast, energy shield deflection, combat reflexes, willpower, and outwit. She's coming in at 60 points with the Clock Tower special team ability. What the Clock Tower team ability allows her to do is when she's adjacent to a character with the Servant or Mage keyword, she may replace her attack value with their value. So she's a 6-click piece, with 2 clicks of energy shield deflection, 2 clicks of combat reflexes, but she's maintaining Jewelcraft throughout the whole dial, which is pretty strong. But she's susceptible to outwit, and she doesn't have Indomitable, so until you get to those later clicks, she's only going to be doing 1 action per turn. And if you're in a pickle, you may have to push her to pop one of those master abilities. So notice that. But she does have 5 range, and she can take care of herself if she needs to. Alright, that's Rintohsaka. Alright, moving on, we're going to take a look at Edward Teach, also known as Blackbeard in history. He has so in this set, there are specific classes. There are 7 classes in total. To go through them quickly, there's Saber class, Archer class, Lancer class, Rider class, Assassin class, and Caster class, along with Berserker. Each of these classes will confer a bonus innately, so once you get a feel for the set, you'll remember it and won't really be something you have to remember outside of what it is. And then due to the nature of these series, there are certain bonuses that they get against characters of certain classes. As in, Rider class get +1 of attacking a character with the caster class keyword. So you see up there, he has his class name and then Rider. All right, so going on, this is the summon being trait, which during your force construction, you choose a character with the master keyword, have them bound to, they become bound to this character, and that's how you get that bound keyword. When the character that this character is bound to is KO'd, they gain the wording at the beginning of your turn. You roll a d6, and on a 4 through 6, they take 1 unavoidable damage, whoever they are. Typically, there are certain exceptions to this, but we'll go over this when they come up. Blackbeard's big thing is he has a ranged flurry of sorts. He may make up to 2 attacks. If he's occupying a square of water terrain, he may make up to 3 attacks. And if he makes those 3 attacks, you can place 3 smoke clouds adjacent to him. As we all know, the legend of Blackbeard put fuses in his beard, and he carried along a lot of pistols. It plays into that, as in black powder guns, which just spewed out puffs of smoke. He doesn't really have any movement abilities for you to capitalize on, so you're gonna want to try to TK him into position and then let him get that range flurry, or get him to that water square. He has enhanced movement water, which is, he's a pirate, he can swim. All right, moving on, we got our first uncommon piece. The other 2 were commons. Bedivere. He's a saber class servant. So saber classes are are different from rider classes. They're not getting the charge ability from their trait. They get to modify his attack or defense +1. It's only those 2. You can't modify the others with that ability. And when he fights a character with the keyword class lancer, he gains +1 to his attack. As you saw before, he has the same summon being trait as Rider did, just a little bit of a different name. And on a 4 through 6 after his master's KO, he's taking 1 unavoidable damage. He has a trait called Take Up a Sword, Silver Colored Arm. At the beginning of the game, you place 2 Divine Sword tokens on him, and when his character clears, you add another. When he clears 2 or more action tokens, add 1 Divine Sword token down. So his foot special power is, if I channel my power into my sword, it's charge, and he gets Giant Reach 2. So while this ability is active, he has Giant Reach 2, and he may take a free action or remove 2 Divine Sword tokens and modify his attack and damage +1 this turn. Moving on, he has Releasing the Power Contained Within This Arm as a special attack ability, which is Blades, Claws, Fangs, and he may take a power action to remove 2 Divine Sword tokens and use Pulse Wave as if he had a range of 2 and ignored adjacency. So Divine Swords you need a Divine Sword token every 2 turns, typically, unless someone's incapacitating you, which it could be every other turn, or it could be, could throw you off, you get a little sooner. But these abilities do have a lot of counterplay. They can be outwitted, but they are pretty strong when they get in the right position. He's charged with Impervious. He has Toughness, Leadership, and Perplex. And he's an 85-point piece for 6 clicks with 10 throughout the whole dial and 17 defense. Dropping down to a 16 and with 2 damage later on down the dial with the Chaldea team ability. This here is Hassan of Serenity. She is the first assassin class, and she's going to be that first unique to the summon being trait that we were talking about. So when her master is KO'd, instead of taking 1 damage at the beginning of each of your turns, if you roll 4 through 6, she's just taking 2 unavoidable damage right then and there, and then you're going to ignore that trait from then on after the master's KO'd. Her trait is Zabanaya, Delusional Poison Body. What her Hassan of Serenity is known for is that her whole body was coated in poison, and even to touch her would mean death. There have been stories, supposedly, where a strong gust of wind once blew on her, and a whole army fell down. Of course, these are taken from legend. But she has poison, and the poison she does is penetrating. When an opposing character hits assassin, until the end of your next turn, modify their attack -1. So Until the end of your next turn, their attack is -1. But at the beginning of their turn, it will obviously go back to what it was. So it's a pretty strong ability. If you're attacking her, just that corrosion that she's applying to you can be a real pain. But if you're attacking multi-targeting, it shouldn't be that bad. This will mainly come into play with characters that have flurry, of course. After that, we got the special power on Fist called Strike from Shadows. If this character is in hindering terrain, or if an allied character besides this character is adjacent to an opposing character, modify her attack +1, and her damage is penetrating for this attack. It is penetrating, not for this attack. But if you're in hindering terrain, if you're double teaming an opponent, she's getting these bonuses that really promote team play. Despite her assassin-like nature, it's one of the things. She has skills with the assassin, which is toughness. She has toughness with her special ability, and then she has free choose combat reflexes or shield deflection. Assassin can use the chosen power until your next turn, and this ability is protected from outwit. She has charge and precision strike, and she's a 65 point, 5-click. Charge throughout the whole dial before going to precision strike at her last 2, where when she loses her fist ability, but she maintains that special defense throughout. And finally, we got Cu'Chulainn, one of Fate Stay Night's main heroes. Here, take a look at him. He's coming in at 75 points. He has enhanced movement, hindering and elevated. He's a Lancer class servant. What Lancer class servants get is giant reach 2, and when he attacks a character with the keyword class archer, he's getting +1 to his attack. He has the summon being trait, and it goes back to normal, where he's getting on a 4 through 6, he takes 1 unavoidable damage if his master's KO'd. And he has the special ability called the Hound of Ulster, which is charge, sidestep, and running shot, reflecting his relentless nature and his multitude of abilities when attacking. So now we're going to go into the main trait here, which is Gaebolg. It's one of Cu'Chulainn's most well-known legends. He had a spear that would pierce anyone's heart who he stabbed. So to reflect that, and to reflect his counterpart in the series, Cu'Chulainn has this trait at all times, and here's what they do. So he may choose to take a close action, and he may make a close attack that hits an opposing character unless you roll. That always hits an opposing character unless you roll a critical failure. After resolutions, Cu'Chulainn's taking an additional token to do this. So you charge, you use this, and you hit. You're taking an additional token after resolution, so it's going to be tokened out. It can be really tough to manage that sometimes. Now, during playtesting, there was one situation where I charged in with him first, and he used that ability. He got the hit, got the 3 damage off on his top dial. But then he was just sitting there by himself. So it's a strong ability, but he's tokened out afterwards. He can't act afterwards, unfortunately. And he has a second ability, which is him throwing his spear, which is range. You're going to be drawing a straight line, either horizontal, diagonal, and you're going to be you're going to choose a square, and it's going to make an attack that in this line that you've chosen, horizontal, vertical, sideways. God, what am I saying? Vertical, horizontal, diagonal. And you're going to draw a line of fire to that square. You're going to make an attack that does not target any character that this line passes through. You compare the result of the roll for the attack, and if it hits, they are dealt 3 damage. In the following turn, though, Cu'Chulainn may not use his printed attack or damage ability. So that has a draw off as well. But both pretty strong attacks, but both with pretty big downsides afterwards. He's coming in with charge, sidestep, precision strike, blades, claws, fangs, invulnerable, toughness, super senses, close combat expert, and his scary warp spasm. So for 75 points, he's 6 clicks with the question mark for team ability, which means he's a wild card. The total of 5 range. So that will be it for today's preview of the Fate Stay Night Heroclix pieces. If you have any questions, leave them below in the comments. I'll be posting a link below also with a link to the Discord for this and other Heroclix activities on TTS. Hopefully, we're looking to grow the community on TTS because there's a lot of fantastic mods out there with these great 3D models for players to go and experience. All right. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Stay safe out there, and hopefully we'll all be able to go back to our locals soon.